and welcome to another video. Today is Monday the 6th of July 2020, and in today's video I'm going to look ahead and preview the PDC Summer Series. So the Summer Series will consist of 5 Players Championships events. We'll see Players Championship event 9 through to Players Championship 13 take place over 5 days, and what you're going to need for this is endurance. This is the hardest spell of darts that I've ever recalled. 5 straight days of Players Championship events. We've never seen this before. We've only ever seen 3 before, and this is 2 more than that. So that's going to be really interesting to see who can play really well in this, because there's also a mini series, and the top of the mini series will be going to the Grand Slam of Darts in Wolverhampton later on in 2020, hopefully in November time. So let's see, there's 11 players not taking part in the Summer Series, and they are as follows. We've got Crystal Reyes, we've got Damon Heta, we've got Kyle Anderson, we've got Daniel Larsson, we've got Jesus Nogueira, we've got John Michael, we've got Marco Cantelli, we've got Stefan Seitman, we've got Tony Alcinas, we've got Wesley Harms, and we've got Jordi Mesweiser. Now, they are the 11 not taking part, and it's really sad to see some of not taking part. You know, Crystal Reyes, on his day, can be a winner on the PDC Tour. Damon Heta got his tour card, and it'll be interesting that he's not taking part, but it would have been great to see him take part, because he's one of those players, you know, we've seen him win a World Series, he can win events, just like Kyle Anderson. Now, he won back in Auckland in 2017, and it's great to see him healthy again, because he was suffering with COVID-19, but he's got over that, and that's great to see. So we'll skip over the rest, and let's talk about who is in the Summer Series from the Challenge Tour. Who's came up from the Challenge Tour, and they're going to play on the main tour. Now, the 11 players are as follows. We've got Scott Mitchell, we've got Rob Collins, we've got Matthew Denton, we've got Jerzy van de Velde, we've got Andrew Gilden, we've got Nathan Rafferty, we've got Ian Conterman, we've got Cameron Menzies, we've got James Hubbard, we've got Eddie Lovely, and we've got Graham Usher. Now let's talk about a couple of those. I mean, Scott Mitchell, he is top of the Challenge Tour list, so he's the first person to come in, and he's had plenty of practice during the lockdown period by playing the Modus Tour. He's been very steady on the Modus Tour, picking up between 6 and 8 points every day, and he's been really very steady, like what you expect from Scott Mitchell. And I think with that practice, I think he could do some decent things as being a step in, and I think it'll be interesting to see how he goes. We'll also see people like Andrew Gilden. I think Andrew Gilden could get to last 16s and last 32s. Very underrated, but when he gets his game together, he is a very dangerous player. He can average that 105 game, and it's a very hard game to beat, because he's unorthodox. The way he sets up the hockey, he starts to the right of the hockey. It's not many people do that, and it's a little bit unorthodox, and it really does stump some players out. We'll also see people like Cameron Menzies, who's erratic, but on his day can be very good. We'll also see people like James Hubbard. Now, he didn't fare as well in the Modus Tour. He hasn't fared as well, but I think he prefers face-to-face darts, and I think we'll see him play some decent stuff. I think he'll pick up a couple of wins, but I don't think he'll get as far as, say, like Andrew Gilden will get. We'll also see Graham Usher. Now, Graham Usher's a very steady player, and I think that he'll practice very hard in the lockdown period for this chance, and he's just edged in that 11th place. So now we're going to talk about the match play. Who's going to get to the match play is a very tight bunch in the Pro Tour order of merit, from 6, which is Jeffrey the Swan, and 24,500, down to 25th with Mervyn King, currently sitting on 15,000. There's only 9,500, and that's only 1 win. So if someone can win in that propels them into those places very high up in that. Especially, you expect 35,000 to be the cut-off point for a match play, but this year with less events, it'll be a lot lower, and nobody really knows who will be in and who will be out over these next 5 days of competition. Will 24,500 be enough? Who knows? It'll be very interesting to find out. So let's have a little look at a couple of players that are on the bubble. Kim Hybrids currently sits in 16th place. Now, he's got £18,750. Now, he's currently in by £250. He'll have to have a very good Summer Series to keep that place in the match play. You know, there or thereabouts. He's got a lot of games that were 6-5, but he's starting to win them now compared to last year, which he was losing those games 6-5. He's now winning them by 6 legs to 5, and I think his position will be very, very interesting to see. The next player we're going to talk about is Ryan Searle. Now, I think Ryan Searle will have a very, very good summer series. We've seen some good performances from it in the PDC home tour, and he's currently in 15th position with 19,000, so he's in by £500 just now. I think he'll kick on and he'll kick up that list. I think he could be near Jeffrey Deswan in the end, up in 24,500. So let's talk about a couple of players that I think will do very well in this summer series that are currently outside the positions. Now, Steve West is the closest. He is in 17th position. Now, he's got 18,500. He only needs £250 to overtake Kim Hybrids. Also, I think people like Ricky Evans, he's next on the list with 18th position with 18,000. He's close. He needs a couple of runs and he will get into the positions for the match play. Let's go down a little bit further. Luke Humphries was very, very good on the PDC home tour. He's currently in 20th position on 17,500. Now, that's only 1,250 behind Kim Hybrids as it currently stands. But if Luke Humphries produces his home tour form, he will go up very, very quickly. I think he could have a couple of deep runs, especially at the semi-finals and quarter-finals, and be close to winning these events. We haven't really seen his floor form very compared to his stage form, but I think we'll start to see those levels get a lot closer. I think he's learning his trade on the floor now, and I think he's getting more better as every match goes on the floor. Next player we're going to talk about is Mervyn King. Now, he's currently in 25th place, as I said before, with 15,000. Mervyn always finds a way to get to the match play, and I would be very surprised if Mervyn doesn't get to the match play. I think Mervyn could be an outsider to win one of these events, if not get to a final and a semi-final of another one, and that'll bridge the gap to get him into these the match play, and also get him into Grand Slam later on this year, because Mervyn's one of those players. He is a real crafty player. If there's a way to get there, Mervyn will do it. The next player I'm going to talk about is Devin Peterson. Now, Devin Peterson's been in great form before the lockdown here. He's currently in 26th place with £13,250. He's a little bit far behind, but if anyone can do it, Devin's one of those players, if he gets on a roll in these 5 days, can really kick on, and he's a real confidence player. If he starts day one well, then it'll carry on his form. Now, the next two players we're going to talk about are even further behind that. So we're going to talk about Chris Dobey first. Now, Chris Dobey, surprisingly, in 32nd position with 11,250. Now, he'd be a little bit closer because he had qualified for a couple of the European Tour events. Unfortunately, they had to be cancelled. But I think that Chris Dobey, with the practice he's had in lockdown, will be up for this. I think we'll see the best of Chris Dobey. And I thought I would see the best of Chris Dobey from the start of the year. Coming off the back of what he did last year in a couple of semi-finals on TV, I thought he would start 2020 very well. But we haven't really seen that from Chris Dobey. But I think from the summer series onwards, I think this will be the real kick and the real showing of Chris Dobey. I think he'll really kick into gear now from this. And the last player we're going to talk about is Andy Bolt. Now, Andy Bolt currently sits in 36th position, and like Chris Dobey, has played a lot of darts in lockdown. He's currently got 10,750, and a couple of years ago, he got in the European Tour Championships by a good run in one of the last European Tour events. And I think Andy Bolton can do similar. He's got track record of doing this before, and not for the match play, but for other events. But I think he can put his mind to it and get close to getting a place in the match play. So let's talk about the players that are in the position for the match play. I think will get on very well. I think players like Nathan Aspinall, Michael Smith, Gary Anderson, Glenn Durrant and Jose de Souza will be the ones to watch, other than the players I've just mentioned there, because Nathan Aspinall, he showed great form in the home tour. He actually won it in the end, and it was a great achievement for Nathan Aspinall to do so. Nathan's one of those players, a real confidence player. I think that will give him real confidence going into a summer series, because we'll see some of the best starts from Nathan in spells, especially in the Premier League, where he got, he's one of those players that can average 120 over 5-6 legs, and I think we'll see that from Nathan Aspinall, and it'll give a real boost to win one of these events. Michael Smith, I'll be interested to see him because he's lost a lot of weight in lockdown and he looks tremendous for it. And I think this will really affect his game in a positive light. I think we'll see that endurance, what I mentioned at the start of this video, and I think he will produce steady darts for 5 days consistently. Now, the next player I'm going to talk about is Gary Anderson. Now, Gary, we've seen some very, very good darts in the home tour, and I think we'll see even better darts when he plays face-to-face combat with other people in Milton Keynes. I think we'll see the best of Gary Anderson. A bit interested to see if he can last the length of a day, but I think that he will be able to do so, especially in the first couple of days. The next player we're going to talk about is Glenn Durrant. Now, Glenn Durrant, he kept his head on, he's kept his practice going correctly, and he's seen some very good darts from him on the home tour. It was unfortunate because he missed a couple of darts here or there, or he would have got further in the competition, but it was a very good place to see where Glenn's darts are. He's in a very good place just now. I say he's currently top of the Premier League before lockdown, and I thought it was unlucky not to win a Players' Championship event before lockdown, but I think he will do that in lockdown. And the last player we're going to talk about is Jose de Sousa. Now, he was the player of the lockdown, especially the home tour, where we've seen some fantastic averages, where he lost one leg in his first group, and I think we'll see the best of Jose de Sousa in this summer series. He looks really, really determined, and he looks like he's been practicing a lot during lockdown. So I'm going to give predictions on what I think is going to happen and who's going to win each event. So Players' Championship 9, I'm going to go for Gary Anderson to win. Players' Championship 10, I'm going to go for Nathan Aspinall to win. Players' Championship 11, I'm going to go for Glenn Durrant to win. Players' Championship 12, I'm going to go for Jose de Sousa to win. And Players' Championship 13, I'm going for Michael Smith to win. So what do you think of this video? Leave your comments in the comment section below or via my Twitter. And until tomorrow, I will see you then.